On some level, I think that you understand that it's kind of all in your head. And I'm not trying to belittle any of your feelings and the hardship that you're going through as a business owner because it's very real. It might not be the best strategy to put the responsibility of our marketing and visibility and reach on the actions of our customers. It's not our customers' responsibility to keep our businesses afloat. This episode is about reframing your financial expectations for yourself and your business. So one thing that I'm noticing a lot, and maybe it's just my algorithm or my circle of influence or interest, is that small business owners are really feeling crushed by the algorithm and their lack of organic, unpaid reach on social media. And apparently it's a thing now where people are creating reels with basically a plea for you to help support their business and that the algorithm is killing their reach and it's so unfair. And I don't want to dispute that. I mean, it's all true. And in an ideal world, Instagram and TikTok really would show our content every day for free to the people who follow us. It's true. But at the same time, we are business owners, and sometimes we have to pause and think strategically based on how we feel and what's going on around us. I absolutely think emotion and feelings belong in business, just like politics are part of business. As long as we have humans running our businesses, there are going to be emotions. But I think it's also important to remember that we're trying to reach our customers on social media. We hope they buy from us. We just do. And I personally think it might not be the best strategy to put the responsibility of our marketing and visibility and reach on the actions of our customers, particularly the ones who are seeing our content and responding and sharing. It's not our customers' responsibility to keep our businesses afloat. It's ours. So with that being said, I'd love to share a mindset exercise that I use often on myself when I get into that mode of thinking. And I also suggest it to my clients to keep you in the CEO chair instead of the worried, frustrated person chair. This entails embracing your identity as a business owner and taking full responsibility for it and doing what you do really well, which is think creatively and care about people and get scrappy and resourceful. I've shared this concept before on the podcast, but it was a long time ago before I even changed the name of the show. So I feel like it's worth bringing it up again. If you are running a business and you hope to scale it and turn it into something that you love running and you wouldn't give it up for anything, it can be really easy to get stuck in between two things. Either thinking too small or thinking way too big to the point where you're putting in all of this work and slowly but surely burning yourself out. And that's either before you even launch it, or maybe you don't sell anything when you do launch it. And maybe it does okay, but then it starts to fizzle, or you start to fizzle, and you figure, okay, I guess I'm just not cut out for this. First thing, on some level, I think that you understand that it's kind of all in your head. And I'm not trying to belittle any of your feelings and the hardship that you're going through as a business owner because it's very real. And it's in addition to your personal life changes. You're depending on this and you want it to grow and you want to set a good example for your people, your family, your community, but maybe things are getting hard. If that's the case, I think that this question will help you reframe some of that. So you're in the CEO chair, right? You're visualizing what you want later and figuring out what you can do now to get you to that point. Maybe you know that you don't want to be doing the grunt work for the next 20 years, right? You don't want to have to be tied to your laptop or your phone or reaching out and scheduling posts and trying to do everything yourself. And you definitely don't want to be doing it until your kids are in college or graduated or married, or maybe you have grandchildren, or it's 5 presidents from now. That's not really what you have in mind for your future, right? So in order to start thinking like a CEO right now, I want you to answer a question, and that is, what would you do with a $5,000 USD small business grant? You may need to change the number based on your current situation and day job income, so try it on with $10,000 or $20,000 or whatever feels right for you. But really, what would you do with a $5,000 USD small business grant? And keep in mind that this is not a $5,000 to pay off your credit card debt, or it's not $5,000 for spare savings or for a vacation. What would you actually do with it? Like, let's say someone hands you $5,000 and you have to spend it, and what you do with it has to bring your business to the next level. And maybe someone's going to follow up with you to review a spreadsheet with the itemized expenses that show how you spent the money, and they're going to see if it actually worked like you thought it would. What would you use it on? Now, the thing here is that it's not so much the answer to that question that matters. What it triggers is the part of your brain that goes, okay, shopping list. This is what I've got. What can I get with it? And I hope that it would make you think differently about how all of the pieces of your business right now are coming together, or maybe how they're not. So as an example, let's say that you have a big focus on social media marketing. If you're working on social media and you say, I'm going to hire a VA to do my social media because I hate spending all of my time on my phone, making content, I hate it. I just want to help my clients, and I don't want to spend all of my time thinking about inspirational quotes and trending audios and scheduling things and all that stuff. And I want to hire someone to do it for me. And that's good. That's a good place to start. But from there, you then have to say who exactly. Do you know exactly who you would email tonight or this weekend, and which websites you would revisit to double check their package rates and what's included? Or is it mostly just the thought of someone taking it over for you, but you're not actually sure how that would work? And then once you dive into that research, you'll learn that it turns out you probably need to start recording random videos as B-roll, and that you can hand off to someone to edit together. Maybe you need to save some examples of content you really like and you'd like to create for your own business. Or maybe you go down the rabbit hole of social media content managers and realize that you don't actually like any of their content at all. And you start to wonder if you really want to focus on social media after all. But just the thought process is helpful. It makes you think about how you'd spend the money. You'd have to admit to yourself that maybe you're spending too much time on social media content, and you would pay real money to another person to do less of it yourself. Another way to look at this $5,000 business grant idea is to think of it like a mini Shark Tank show. If you have your business model and you're like, I know that people need this. People have told me how helpful I am. I am really good at this and I have proof. But if you think of being on like a mini Shark Tank show, how would you describe your business then? And let's pretend it's a less capitalist one and it's actually folks who are giving grant money and not taking ownership of your company, unless you want that, of course. But in this scenario, what are your projected numbers? Can you confidently say, I know I can handle this many clients, package this many products per week, and allocate this much money to assistants who can help me during the busy season. I know that this industry is booming right now and that this can work, and this is what sets me apart from everyone else. And then, of course, at that point, they deem you worthy of money or not based on how you're spending your time and energy right now to get what you've already gotten. Describing your business that way has a very different tone level than, hey guys, I'm so frustrated because the algorithm is shadow banning me and it's so not fair. I need your help and your support. Please support me on Patreon and like and share my comment. It means so much to me. Please help me. Again, no judgment on folks who are making content like that. It probably works. I'm just saying we can lean the other way occasionally and really take our businesses seriously. No matter how much revenue we're generating, no matter how many vanity metrics we have to show for the content we create and post on some dude's app. Because the truth is, you've done a lot of it yourself. You've done a lot of learning, just you and your phone and the webinars you've attended and the learning that you've done. It can be hard to give yourself credit for how much you've actually done. You've done a lot, and you know what value you bring. So $5,000 for a business grant is really just about how you would actually use that money, as if someone's going to give it to you, then check back in on you, maybe even invite you to a nice award ceremony where they're going to share your work. The final bit of this mindset exercise, honestly, is that you have to take yourself seriously, because the truth is that you're using that $5,000 right now. In the real world, outside of this podcast and this mindset exercise, whether or not you are offered a $5,000 grant. What I mean is, if you keep going with what you're doing, you eventually will spend that much money on your business. Eventually, you will try enough apps and hire a virtual assistant here and there, and renew your website domain and sign up for video editing software, and eventually it will add up to $5,000. So you may as well be intentional with it and decide what's going to happen in advance, rather than playing catch up as your business possibly trickles money out of your bank account over time. Make sense? So, what are you going to do now? My advice is to ask for help, but not in the please follow and like and share my content on this social media app kind of way. You turn to your peers, fellow business owners, roundtable discussions on LinkedIn or through your local small business development center, or in masterminds that are being run by coaches and online teachers that you trust. A lot of my business and a lot of the success I've had has been because I'm connected with people who are very kind and generous and willing to talk about the many things we're all doing behind the scenes. If you connect with the right kinds of people who are totally in it with you, they're like, I understand what you're going through. I've been there myself. I know what I've done, and I know what I've done that didn't work. That can be way more helpful than a Google search that just pulls up all the articles that have been written by AI and regurgitating generic information about how to grow a business. Ask for help. Write out a list of questions you have and advice you'd like to get from people who know more than you. Ask the people you follow and learn from on social media if they're available for 30-minute consults and what their rates are, and get some new people in your corner and rooting for you. Ask me. I love answering random, never-ending questions because that's what makes entrepreneurship fun. The never-ending evolution of your business model and all the creative ways you can make it work without being a direct copy of the biggest YouTube star or Instagram influencer. Consider these the people you can rely on to help you out and support your business in ways that will have a longer effect than the temporary boosts in the algorithm. Again, all of this from the mindset exercise of simply thinking about how you would use a $5,000 business loan in ways that will scale it so you're satisfied with the results. Powerful stuff, right? I hope you found that helpful. If you're listening to this podcast and working hard on your business, I applaud you. I'm grateful for you. Please keep doing the work you feel called to do and don't give up, okay? I'll see you next time.